Every morning you wake up with two voices inside you. One whispers, rest a little longer. The other screams, rise. The world is waiting for you. The difference between the weak and the unstoppable is not talent, not luck. It's habits, because destiny doesn't belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the most disciplined. So today, I'll give you 7 daily habits that will ignite your spirit, sharpen your focus, and make you unstoppable. Not someday, not later. Today. Every single morning, life gives you a divine opportunity, the reset button. A sacred moment before the noise begins, before the world starts demanding, comparing, and shouting. That moment belongs to you. But most people give it away before they even open their eyes. They grab their phones, they scroll through other people's lives, and before they've even taken their first breath of awareness, their mind has already surrendered to chaos. The unstoppable ones don't do that. They understand that the first hour of the day is the battlefield of destiny, is where warriors are made, and where the weak stay asleep. When you wake up, your mind is a blank canvas, pure, open, and ready to receive whatever message you feed it. If the first thing you feed it is anxiety, distraction, or negativity, that's the tone your day will carry. But if you feed it intention, gratitude, and purpose, you command the day instead of being commanded by it. The secret is simple but sacred. Own your first hour, and you will own your life. Start your morning in silence, not in noise. Sit with yourself. Breathe deeply. Thank God or the universe for another chance to create, to grow, to love, to live. Visualize the person you are becoming, not the one you were yesterday. Speak affirmations that align with your vision. Say them with power, not doubt, because your words are not just sound, they are seeds. When you say, I am strong, your mind begins to build strength. When you say, I am capable, your soul begins to move mountains. Speak life into your morning. Don't underestimate the power of a quiet mind. The world trains you to wake up and react. Messages, emails, news, notifications, a storm of demands before your spirit is even awake. But the unstoppable are not reactors, they are creators. They start their day on offense, not defense. They write down their goals, not their excuses. They review their purpose, not their problems. They pray, not panic. You don't need an elaborate routine, you need consistency. Maybe for you it's 10 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of movement, 10 minutes of focus. That's 30 minutes of mastery that can change everything. Because if you don't set your temperature in the morning, the world will set it for you. And the world is often cold, distracted, and hurried. Don't let it define your rhythm. When you claim your first hour, you begin to walk differently. You speak with clarity. You act with confidence, and you respond with peace. You stop chasing the day and start leading it. You become proactive instead of reactive, guided instead of lost. The morning becomes your altar, a place to renew your spirit, sharpen your mind, and anchor your purpose. So tomorrow when you wake up, don't touch your phone, touch your heart, touch your vision, touch your faith. Command your morning before the world commands you, because how you start your day is how you live your life. And the unstoppable starts strong every single day. What you feed your mind every day determines the strength of your spirit. Just as your body cannot grow on junk food, your mind cannot thrive on mental garbage. The unstoppable understand this truth deeply, that every word, every sound, every image entering your mind either builds your power or breaks it. You become what you consume, and the quality of your thoughts decides the quality of your destiny. Each day, the world is fighting for your attention. 1,000 voices scream for space in your head. Social media, gossip, news, negativity, comparison. They fill your mind with noise until you can't hear your own voice anymore. That's why the great ones, the unbreakable souls, are careful about what they allow into their mental space. They treat their mind like a temple, not a trash bin. They feed it truth, wisdom, and ideas that stretch their soul. They read books that ignite faith, listen to messages that awaken vision, and surround themselves with people who speak life, not limitations. If you want to be unstoppable, you must become intentional about what enters your mind. Don't let algorithms decide what you think about today. Choose your content with purpose. Read something that challenges your comfort. Listen to voices that make you uncomfortable in the best way. The ones that call you to rise higher, to think deeper, to live braver. Because your mind is the garden where your future grows. And if you don't plant powerful thoughts, weeds of fear will take over. Feeding your mind with fire means finding material that stirs your hunger for growth. It's listening to mentors, studying visionaries, diving into scripture, psychology, or philosophy, anything that strengthens your inner architecture. The unstoppable are lifelong learners. They never assume they know enough. They keep their curiosity alive. Because the moment you stop learning, you start dying. Every new idea you absorb becomes a weapon, a tool, a spark that will serve you when challenges come. There will be days when your mind feels tired, when you don't want to read or listen to anything new. Those are the days you must push the hardest. Because just like the body, the mind builds endurance through resistance. When you feel lazy, read anyway. When you feel distracted, refocus anyway. That's how you turn knowledge into discipline and discipline into transformation. Be careful also with the conversations you entertain. Every word you hear carries energy. Some people pour into you, others drain you. Choose voices that speak faith, not fear. Protect your mental diet as fiercely as you would protect your dream. When your mind is filled with strength, no stone can shake you. When it's filled with clarity, no doubt can control you. So feed your mind like a champion feeds for battle, with intention, with gratitude, and with purpose. Because the one who controls their mind controls their destiny. Your body is not just a vessel, it is the engine of your purpose. Every dream you carry, every goal you chase, depends on the energy you bring to it. You cannot create greatness from exhaustion. You cannot lead with power if you move like a shadow of yourself. The unstoppable understand that motion is medicine, that when you move your body, you move your destiny. Energy is not something you wait for, it's something you generate. Each morning, when you push your body, when you stretch, run, breathe deeply, or simply walk in awareness, you awaken the warrior within you. You remind yourself that you are alive, capable, and powerful. It's not about building muscles, it's about building momentum. Because energy creates clarity, and clarity creates confidence. The stronger your body becomes, the louder your spirit roars. A disciplined body gives birth to a disciplined mind. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but the unstoppable act first, and the motivation follows. When you move, your blood flows, your mind sharpens, and your emotions stabilize. Suddenly, the problems that seem massive shrink into something manageable. That's the miracle of movement. It changes your chemistry before it changes your circumstances. Every drop of sweat is a silent declaration. I am not giving up on myself today. You don't have to train like an athlete or climb mountains to awaken this fire. Even 10 minutes of intentional movement can shift your entire state. The goal is consistency, not complexity. Walk with purpose, stretch with gratitude, breathe with awareness. Treat your body as the sacred temple it is. The body and the mind are not separate. They are dance partners, and when they move in rhythm, life flows differently. Taking care of your body is also an act of respect toward your dreams. How can you expect to sustain massive success if your energy collapses halfway? How can you serve others if your own strength is drained? The unstoppable treat their health as a foundation, not an option. They rest when necessary, fuel their bodies with real food, hydrate, and understand that self-care is not vanity, it's strategy. There will be days when fatigue whispers, when laziness seduces, when the comfort of the couch calls your name louder than your goals. Those are the defining moments. That's when the unstoppable rise and say, not today. Because every time you win that battle against comfort, you become more powerful. Every workout, every step, every breath becomes a symbol of your resilience. When your body is strong, your emotions obey you. When your energy is high, your vision expands. The unstoppable don't chase energy, they create it. They know that motion brings life, that a body in motion keeps the spirit in motion. So move daily, move with intention, move like someone who knows their destiny depends on it. Because when you move your body, you awaken your power. Keeping promises to yourself is one of the purest forms of self-respect. It's the invisible foundation that builds unshakable confidence. Most people can keep promises to others because they fear disappointment, rejection, or judgment. But the unstoppable keep promises to themselves because they understand that their word is sacred even when no one is watching. Every time you do what you said you would do, your soul whispers, I can trust you. And that trust becomes the root of unbreakable discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It's a declaration of love. It's telling yourself, I am worth the effort. I am worth the consistency. I am worth the growth. When you repeatedly break your own word, you begin to doubt yourself. You start to believe that your dreams are negotiable. You lower your standards. You silence your ambition, and you start settling for less than what you're capable of. But the unstoppable draw a line. They say, I will no longer betray myself for comfort. Because comfort is cheap, but commitment is priceless. Keeping promises to yourself doesn't mean being perfect. It means being loyal to your vision, even on hard days. It's waking up when you said you would, even when you're tired. It's finishing the task you started, even when it feels boring. It's showing up for your goals, even when no one is clapping. Because the applause that truly matters is the one that comes from within. You must become your own witness. The person who knows you don't quit halfway. The person who can look in the mirror and say, you did what you said you would do. Every small act of discipline compounds into something extraordinary. One workout, one page read, one promise kept. Over time, those actions carve strength into your character. You stop needing motivation because your identity takes over. You no longer ask, will I do this today? You simply do it because it's who you are. That is what separates the unstoppable from the uncertain. Identity, not intensity. There will be days when you fail, when you miss, when you break a promise. Forgive yourself quickly, but don't let yourself off the hook easily. Reflect, reset, and recommit. The goal is not perfection, it's alignment. The unstoppable treat each failure as feedback, not finality. They understand that growth isn't about never falling. It's about getting up faster every time. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence no longer depends on results, it depends on your integrity. You walk taller, speak clearer, and move bolder because you know who you are. No opinion can shake you, no doubt can poison you because you trust your own consistency. The unstoppable are not superhuman. They're simply faithful to their own word. So from this day forward, make your word your law. Keep your promises, especially the quiet ones. Because the moment you start honoring your word, you stop negotiating with your greatness. Your energy is your most valuable currency. It is the invisible power that fuels your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Every dream you chase, every goal you set, requires energy to manifest. That's why the unstoppable protect their energy like it's sacred. Because it is. They understand that success is not only about what you do, but also about what you allow. Not every call deserves an answer, not every opinion deserves a response, and not every invitation deserves your presence. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's strategic. Every day, you are surrounded by people and situations that either charge you or drain you. Some conversations uplift your spirit, while others leave you exhausted. Some environments inspire, while others dim your light. The unstoppable learn to recognize the difference. They pay attention to how they feel after an interaction, after scrolling, after spending time somewhere. If it steals their peace, if it kills their focus, they set boundaries. Because peace is power, and without it, your purpose loses strength. Guarding your energy starts with your mind. The thoughts you entertain shape the emotions you experience. If you constantly replay negative stories, your energy will reflect that. But if you train your mind to see possibilities instead of problems, you create an atmosphere of faith within you. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you offer others. Replace self-criticism with self-command. The words you say in silence determine the vibration of your entire day. The unstoppable are selective with their circles. They don't allow everyone access to their inner world. They surround themselves with people who celebrate their growth, not those who compete with it. They choose friends who challenge them to rise, not those who tempt them to settle. Because energy is contagious and you become what you're around. Protecting your energy means choosing connection over attention, purpose over popularity, and peace over drama. In this digital age, one of the greatest threats to your energy is distraction. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, and comparison traps silently drain your focus. Every moment you give to meaningless noise steals from the masterpiece you could be building. The unstoppable know how to unplug. They disconnect to reconnect. They take time to breathe, to walk in nature, to listen to silence, to hear their own heartbeat again. Because silence restores power. Guarding your energy is also about saying no. Firmly, gracefully, unapologetically, no to overcommitting, no to emotional chaos, no to anything that costs your peace. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve your purpose, you say yes to your higher self. The unstoppable understand that focus is a form of love. Love for their vision, their mission, and their calling. They invest their energy only where it multiplies. So protect your peace, honor your boundaries, and guard your fire. Because the world doesn't need more busy people, it needs more people whose energy is aligned with their purpose. Gratitude is the secret fuel that keeps the unstoppable moving forward, even when life gets heavy. It's the invisible force that transforms pain into wisdom, loss into lessons, and struggle into strength. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect, it means recognizing the gift in everything, even in the imperfection. When you choose to see what's right instead of what's missing, your energy changes, your mind opens, and your heart expands. The unstoppable understand that a grateful heart is an unstoppable engine. It keeps them centered in abundance, not scarcity. Each morning, before diving into the rush of the world, take a moment to say thank you. Not just for what you have, but for what you've survived. For the storms that taught you resilience. For the tears that purified your vision. For the moments that broke you open so you could rebuild stronger. Gratitude turns suffering into growth because it shifts your focus from what was lost to what was gained. When you practice gratitude daily, your heart becomes a magnet for blessings. You start attracting more of what you appreciate because what you focus on expands. The unstoppable don't wait for something extraordinary to feel grateful. They find beauty in the ordinary. A sunrise, a kind word, a chance to start again. These are miracles disguised as moments. Gratitude makes you aware of the small details that others overlook, and that awareness creates joy. When you live in gratitude, comparison loses its power over you. You no longer measure your worth by someone else's highlight reel because you're too busy counting your own blessings. But gratitude doesn't stop with words. It transforms into action. The unstoppable understand that to truly honor what they've been given, they must give back. When you share what you have, your time, your wisdom, your kindness, you multiply it. When you lift someone else, you rise higher yourself. Giving doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes it's as simple as listening with compassion, encouraging a stranger, or reminding someone of their worth. In a world that often takes more than it gives, being generous with your heart is an act of rebellion. The more you give, the more you receive, not always in material form, but in fulfillment, connection, and meaning, because the soul's never designed to keep everything it gathers. It was designed to circulate love. Gratitude and giving create a cycle that keeps your spirit alive and your purpose clear. They remind you that success isn't about accumulation, it's about contribution. There will be days when gratitude feels difficult, when your mind is tired and your heart is heavy. On those days, find one small thing to be thankful for and hold it close. That tiny spark will light the path through darkness. The unstoppable know that gratitude is not an emotion, it's a choice. And when you choose gratitude, you choose power. Because no storm can defeat a heart that keeps saying thank you. Every night is a mirror. When the world quiets and the noise fades, you are left with one thing, yourself. This is the moment when the unstoppable pause to reflect, to realign, and to reset. Because growth isn't something that happens once a year, it happens every day. The unstoppable don't wait for January or for someday. They understand that progress is built in the stillness of each evening, in those quiet moments when they look back and ask, did I live today with purpose? Reflection is not about judgment, it's about awareness. It's taking inventory of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. It's asking yourself, what did I do well today? What trained me? What filled me? What lesson did this day come to teach me? When you live with this kind of awareness, you stop repeating mistakes and start refining your direction. Because the truth is, the day will either teach you or break you, and reflection decides which one it becomes. The unstoppable end their day intentionally. They don't just collapse into sleep. They close their day with gratitude, with honesty, with presence. They forgive themselves for what didn't go perfectly and celebrate what went right. They release what's heavy because they know carrying yesterday into tomorrow is too costly. They remind themselves that failure is not fatal, it's feedback, a compass pointing them toward growth. Resetting isn't just about resting the body, it's about refreshing the mind and cleansing the spirit. It's letting go of guilt, releasing pressure and preparing the soil for a new day. The unstoppable take time to breathe deeply, to journal, to pray, to meditate, whatever helps them return to center. Because every night is a small death and every morning is a resurrection. How you end your day determines how you begin the next one. This habit of reflection creates clarity. It helps you recognize patterns, where you're growing, where you're stagnant, and where you need to evolve. It keeps you humble enough to learn and confident enough to continue. The unstoppable understand that self-awareness is the birthplace of transformation. Without it, you repeat cycles. With it, you break them. And then comes the most powerful part, the repeat. Every single day, again and again, no matter what happened yesterday, they choose to begin anew. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They don't let disappointment turn into defeat. They wake up with the same fire, the same commitment, the same hunger to become better. Because greatness isn't built in leaps. It's built in repetition. When you reflect, reset, and repeat, you are constantly renewing your spirit. You stop fearing failure because you know you can always start again. You stop chasing perfection because you're already growing daily. The unstoppable live in this rhythm, learning, adjusting, rising. So tonight, when the world goes silent, take a moment to look within, forgive, and begin again. Because those who renew daily can never be defeated. You don't need to be perfect to be unstoppable. You just need to be persistent enough to never stop rising. Because the world doesn't remember those who tried. It remembers those who refuse to quit.